inspiration, laughter, love, shining bright. Turn it up.
Subscribe to the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show today.
Welcome to the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show, and today we have a distinguished guest. But before we get to her, let me be so kind and introduce my co-host.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Angela Clark.
Yeah, and your IG?
My IG is A Clark 54321 or The Real Angie C. And you can find me on Facebook at Angela Carter Clark.
Professor.
And I am Linda Anderson King, co-host, and I can be found on Instagram at Professor L. King, and on Facebook it is Linda Anderson King.
And as promised, it's our pleasure to introduce, I want to say the name right, because you just told me. Jenena Barrie.
Correct.
So I got that part right, so I tried. So welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
And I do know a little bit about you.
Right.
I do research as a journalist. So Sierra Leone is birth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have some family from Sierra Leone. I don't know what part, I just know Sierra Leone. So before we dive in, let's talk about your journey to Texas.
Okay.
We know California.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm Jenena Barrie, and I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone. At the age of 8, my family came to the United States. And actually, when I was 11, I witnessed my father being murdered, and I was the only witness to that offense. And so after that, I was in foster care temporarily, and then I relocated to Texas to be with family after that occurred.
You said 11?
When I was 11, correct.
Wow.
Yeah, in South Central Los Angeles.
Man.
So.
Yeah, that's wow. I mean, for an 11-year-old to eyewitness and stuff like that. So, man, okay, let me clear that up because that's you hit me with that one. And so in Texas, let's talk about coming to Texas. How did you feel? Did you feel abandoned, or you like it's time to meet new friends? You already had family here, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, so I had family here. When we were in California, I was probably in like 3 different foster homes. And then when I relocated, I stayed primarily with an aunt down here. Abandoned, I did have some emotions of abandonment, right? Because my mother is still in Africa. And then my dad was, our primary in the States. And so after that, we did have a little struggle with my foster mom. Okay. And so that's why we had to relocate. But, I landed, I think, well. I completed high school and went on to study at the University of Houston. Go Cougs.
Okay.
And then I went on to receive my law degree from the Paul M. Hebert Law Center at Louisiana State University on a partial scholarship.
Okay.
So I think I kind of bounced back, and I tell people that there are a lot of kids in the foster system that get lost, and they fall through the cracks. And so I'm every day I wake up, I'm very fortunate that I was not one of them because, but for the grace of God, there goes I. I'm fortunate about that.
Yeah, you done a lot. I mean, you look young. I'm thinking,
I get that a lot
this
too.
college, this place.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's talk about your electoralship. What make you want to just say, you know what? Let me go run for judge, because we know you're a criminal attorney and a defensive, right?
So I've been practicing criminal law exclusively for over a decade. Right now, I'm a federal and state criminal defense attorney, and then I'm also a former prosecutor. And as a former prosecutor, I've held victims' hands, and kind of let them know I'm not new to this feeling.
Yes.
I'm a crime victim survivor. So when they find that about me, they know I'm gonna take care of them and make sure I value their grief and their struggle, because I've done that. And so one of the good things about my stories, I can use it to help others, because I can say, look, listen, we might not get your loved one back, but I know what this feels like. My
Yeah.
dad's case is still not solved. It's still unsolved.
Wow.
So it's like, I know what this feels like. It sucks. Grieving is not linear. You're going to feel good some days, and some days you might not even get out of bed, because
Right.
I know that feeling. So for me, having that common thread with crime victim survivors, because I am one, and their families, it was important, you know, as a prosecutor. And I've tried dozens of cases as first share to verdict, including murder cases. And I've handled thousands of criminal law cases, including capital murder cases. And so back to your question, why? I know I'm uniquely positioned, right?
Okay.
Being a former prosecutor, being a crime victim survivor, and also being a criminal defense attorney right now, where it's like the opposite. I'm getting my clients through the worst days of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone wakes up and say, I'm going to go commit a crime today. You know,
We hope not.
yeah.
Some premeditated.
Most people.
Most people, yes,
Yeah.
most people don't, right? There's certain crimes that in a blink of an eye you form that intent to do something, but for the most part, people are not planning on how they're gonna blow up their whole lives. You know,
yeah.
so you talk them through it. You tell them, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to give you the best advice. I'm an attorney and counselor. Whether you listen, that's a different
Yeah,
thing.
that's-
Sometimes
that's
you
on
have
them.
to stare clients, and so I believe I'm uniquely positioned, and I don't have a bird's eye tunnel vision, and I can see different sides of the law and make decisions based on the law, facts, free from any outside influences, and just based on what's important, what's critical in determining the case, and making sure everyone that has a stake is seen, heard, and respected, even if I don't rule in their favor.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you said you was on both sides, so you have that understanding, this or that. You can say, hey,
It's
I'm
three
on both.
perspectives.
Yeah,
You know, that you have
Right.
in order to empathize with the victims. But as a young child, did you decide that you wanted to be an attorney? At what point did you decide that you wanted to go into practice of law?
I do have lawyers in my family. My grandfather was actually a magistrate back in my
Wow,
country,
okay.
and he was part of Parliament. He was the Minister of Land and Mines in Sierra Leone at one point. And so that was always in me. And so practicing the court I'm running for now was actually my last court as a prosecutor.
Okay.
So for me, it's kind of like a full circle moment. And so yes, I've always wanted to be an attorney. But the more you practice, and the more I practiced, the more I fell in love with criminal law, especially. And so for me, that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I know I enjoy it, and I know I would do good work because I'm here to serve the people of Dallas County. And for me, that's what's important, being a servant.
I like
Right.
that.
So you've mentioned being a DA and a prosecutor. So what part of your background do you think actually has prepared you for the bench?
That's a good question. So I tell people I'm well rounded. I've all of my experiences. I think that's actually a good one. That's kind of hard because I can say I can pick different elements of my different lives, my professional and personal lives, because sometimes you might need to be compassionate. Right? And I say victims deserve compassion and defendants deserve fairness, and those two truths are not mutually exclusive. We can do both.
Yeah.
So when you have those different experiences, you're able to reach back and say, okay, we have this case, because believe it or not, you can have two people commit the same offense and the outcome could justifiably be different based on their background, based on their history, based on the type of victim, or what any role that the victim, things like every single case is completely different. And as a judge, it's up to us to kind of know, okay, this person needs to be rehabilitated. This person is a danger to the society. We can make sure his rights are protected. We can make sure she's protected from him. And how do we balance those two? So it's very important that when we're, as a judge, when you're looking at everything, you're making sure, again, everyone that has a stake in the game, their voices are heard, but ultimately you decide based on, again, the facts and the law, as the facts as it applies to the law, and any other considerations that are not always black and white, right? So there, the things you have to think about that it's not written in the law. What is the relationship with this victim? How was this crime committed? Whether this person has a criminal history, or how safe are members of the community? Are they a threat to members of the community, or just this one person? And so you have to constantly make that calculation, and that's what I intend to do. And again, not being tunnel vision to one side or another, because I've experienced all the sides. And so that's why it's very important to have someone with a well-rounded perspective that can see the whole view, the trees from the forest.
Right.
Now let me ask you this: as what do you say, as a DA?
A
Prosecutor. Yeah, I get them confused. So not saying you had, but you ever had the thought that I'm trying to prosecute somebody, but my attorney side is like, if I was your attorney, I can help you, but as your prosecutor, I got to do what's right.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've had cases like that. So I had an elderly gentleman, I think 60s, 70s, while I was a prosecutor, and he was basically on his last leg. He was not healthy. He came in for a probation violation, and he had 2 paragraphs, meaning he was looking at 25 to life, I believe. It was a very high end type of deal. And so with me, I told the defense attorney, hey, he looks really bad. Give me some information from his doctor saying he's basically not going to be a danger to the community, because he's barely keeping himself alive, right? Like, if you're trying to keep yourself alive, you're not going to be running the streets and menacing and harassing people. And so my thing was, okay, bring me something from his doctor saying he has these conditions, saying he has to be in hospital for so long, and I will continue his probation with, some kind of program that makes sure he's not menacing or whatnot. I don't remember exactly the specifics of it. And so that's what happened. Instead of revoking him and sending him off 25, which, I mean, is basically a life sentence for him. He probably wouldn't have survived the first 2 years. Let's work on something. We can do justice with compassion. And so that's what we ended up doing. And in that particular case, I would say I was very vigorous in saying, yes, Your Honor, I'm okay with this. I don't want him to go away for 25. Yes, I know his exposure is 25. And yes, technically he violated his probation, but look, this man is in a wheelchair. I don't think the community, and I don't think justice will be served by sending him away for 25 years. And that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay. Go ahead.
So what would you feel is the biggest barrier to fairness in the courts, and how, if possible, do you think you might change that as a judge?
So one of the biggest barriers to fairness is basically the ability to pay for representation. So practicing, you see a few people come in and they have like their big shot lawyer that everybody knows and calls upon, and they come in there and just, and certain things happen. And then you see some people that can't afford, to get attorneys. But the good thing about that is that as a judge, you have what's called an indigency will, right? So people who cannot afford quality legal representation can be appointed an attorney free of charge, so that way the attorney can fight for them. And I think the barrier to justice, it should not be that if you're not able to hire a megaphone attorney, you should not get justice. I just don't think that's right. So for me, making sure that people on the wheel, so to speak, that are being appointed clients, making sure, of course, they're qualified. They have to be qualified. There's a system for that. But also making sure that they're showing up. They're not leaving their people in jail, and they're not being mean or rude or condescending, because sometimes you hear how some attorneys speak to their clients and you're like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's helping them out.
And so I feel like that can be overcome by making sure that the people that are serving the community in that capacity are not only one qualified, but they also have the compassion, the patience, and the care to actually give quality legal representation to people that otherwise will be foreclosed to.
Okay.
That's deep.
Further eliminating your expertise, and we've already talked about the state and the federal, but I think this is a question that a lot of our viewers would like to know, including ourselves. Since you've worked both sides, the federal and the state, what are the most significant differences between defending someone in federal court versus state court, and how do those differences impact the outcomes for the defendants?
So federal and state, the biggest difference is the timeline. State courts, you can get a lot of cases wrapped up fairly quickly.
Okay.
Federal courts just take a longer time because it's more involved. It's more, especially if you have cases where there are multiple defendants. I've had those, and those can drag on for a very, very, very long time.
I see.
So state courts, it's more the conclusion is quicker than federal courts, and for the consequences are basically, for state court, if I get somebody a deferred probation, meaning if they complete it, it can get non-disclosed from their record. What that means is, I always had to break it down. What that means is that
That's fine. Take your time.
yeah. So if non-disclosed, meaning if they want to get a job or get an apartment, or apply for schooling, those agencies would not be able to see it. So it helps them be able to continue with their lives after their probation is done, right? Now, if you get arrested again, the DAs and the police department, they will be able to see that. But in your normal everyday life, people won't be able to see that. So the consequences is you get to do your time and continue with your life a little quicker than let's say federal, where it takes a long time.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest things I see.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that is one of, or an alternative method that you've employed in your courtrooms, and are there any others that you have done for the benefit of your client in either role that you've played?
So for personally, what I would hope to do, and I always have a caveat with my promises, obviously I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, or promise something that I'm not able to do on my own. I don't want to be one of those politicians where it's we only see you every 4 years, and you tell us things that you don't go through. But having indigent clients, one of the biggest thing is having to make that decision between not showing up to court and getting a warrant, or not showing up to your job and losing not showing up to work and losing your job and your livelihood for your kids. That is the hardest thing I've had to, grapple with, because it's like, ma'am, if I don't show up to work, they're gonna fire me. And I'm like, if you don't show up, you're gonna get a warrant. And so having that sometimes that is
Sticky.
It's very sticky,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes it's like that's a really, really hard decision to have someone make, right? And so I would like to implement night or online court. I don't know how that would work, and I'm sure I might need to talk to the commissioners and the jailers and all that stuff. But to say, hey, if you can't make your court date, if it's an emergency, not you wanted to go on a vacation to Cancun, and you can't come back. But if you honestly have an emergency, like you're in the hospital, your parents are sick, something, and you're not able to make your court date, we can come in the evening and get that squared away, or we can come at nighttime. We can do. There's one judge that did so well over the winter break, where she had her court over online. Yeah. So she still had, I don't know if you know. Yes. So that's another way we can try to fill in the gap, stand in the gap for people, so they don't have to make these decisions. Because what's going to happen? They get a warrant, they go back, they have to have a new bond, and then it's a vicious cycle, and then they lose their job, they come back, and they can't provide for their families, they get locked up. It's just a vicious cycle.
Sounds
and having
like it.
personally dealt with it with my clients, I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to, something needs to happen. We need to fix it.
Yeah, and that's true, because I've actually had a friend that had to go to court. I don't know what reason, but I think he had missed a couple of days because he was sick. Then he had a court date. I think his boss was like, well, if you miss another day, you're fired. Don't come back. But he showed him the paperwork. He had to go to court. The boss was like, I don't care. You're going to either choose this job or go to court. He said, well, I go to court. Of course, he went back and didn't have no job, but he said, you know what? He said that was the best thing for him, because he didn't get arrested. They put him on probation. He found a better job. So I said it was a blessing.
Yeah, and
I said
blessing in disguise, yes.
because your boss didn't care about you. You know, and that's the sad thing. It's like, here's proof. His attorney called, hey, he has to be here. Well, I don't care. That's his fault type stuff. So yeah. So, you know, from the aspect, so at what moment, and there's always a moment that you woke up or dream, I daydream, whatever, and you said, you know, I need to be behind that bench.
Ooh, that's sticky. Well, like I said, this is my last court as a prosecutor, and a few things happened. I would just kind of put it there that I observed, and I said, you know what, people deserve to be treated better. People deserve to be treated with decency, with respect, with compassion, and definitely not treated in a way. Listen, coming to court already is a daunting task. No one wants to be there. If you're in front of the judge in the gold and the silver bracelets, you're not having a good time. Okay? It's not the highlight of your week, your year, anything. So the very least, when you're literally down, you don't want to get kicked while you're down.
Right.
True.
Right? We've all of us here, I'm sure, have lived enough life to where you're down, you're like on your last, and you're fighting the urge not to just give up or explode, and then somebody comes on like, oh, you're down, here's one more kick.
Yes.
You know.
Wow.
And so for me, it's like it's got to be better. It's got to be better, and that's why I'm running for this bench, and I have been on the campaign trail for almost a year now. I announced my candidacy February 27th of 2025.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I remember that.
It's significant.
It's a significant day.
Yes, so I've been on the campaign trail. 10 days from now will be a year, and for me, I think it was the best decision. I thought about it. I talked to my family about it. I prayed about it. I did everything to mentally prepare myself. Because it's my first time running for any public office. And so, you know, you're going to get exposure from, you know, the public. People are going to want to know more about you. And I have 3 sons, and it's like, ooh, I need to protect them, but also I know I'm doing the right thing. And so that's what it was, to answer your question, just kind of seeing it and just saying, we can do better. We can do better. We must do better.
That's
And
definitely
what
good.
would you want the public to know about you? The voters. What would you want them to know on a personal level about Jenena?
On a personal level, oh, you said that so well. I like that. I get excited when someone says my name right. So on a personal level, I want the public to know I'm very simple. My boys would describe me as fair and kind. And every time I ask them, do you think I'll be a good judge? We think you'll be a great judge, Mom, because you're fair and kind. And for me, when my sons vouch for me, I know it's like,
doing the
okay,
right thing.
yes. So
Going in the
we
right
go
direction.
back. We go back and forth. They really stand toe to toe with me, and they tell me things, and sometimes things I don't want to hear. Not I don't want to hear, but things I'm like, ooh, that's kind of harsh. But then you sit on it, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Oh, my bad. And they're very smart, so they don't sugarcoat anything for me, and I appreciate that. I mean, sometimes it's like, come on, y'all are turning me every which way but loose, but let me make it today. But I appreciate that. What people can expect from me is that I will be transparent. I would be kind, and I would not let how I feel on the outside, because judges are people.
True.
And I need everyone to know you're not always going to get it right. But when you are asked or called to account for it, you need to be able to step back and say, okay, well, I didn't get it right that time. However, I'm committed to getting it right in the future. Or, I made this mistake here, and I'm sorry for that, right? Because you're not always going to get it right. People have a more clear view than you do. Even when things happen to you, you're experiencing it from this bubble, but people from outside can see a more well-rounded perspective that you might not see. So when someone comes up to me and says, hey, this, it's my job is to not do this, but to do this, and listen to what people are saying,
yes.
right? And I like to tell people I try to listen more than I speak, unless I'm at an interview. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what people can expect from me.
So how do people support you? We know this is week 1 of early voting.
Yes.
So how would they support you? You have a website. Tell them.
So my website is Jeneba, JENEBAFOR 282nd.com. So it's Jeneba for 282nd.com.
I like that. It's easy.
If you would like to donate, it's Jeneba for 282nd.com/donate.
Yes.
And then all of my social medias are TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Jeneba for 282nd.
I like that. Cool. We're going to take a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to dive in a little bit more on some of the things as an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk about how do you clear your head for the next case as an attorney and stuff. So you got to, sometimes you got to detox before the next one. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're going to hit this commercial, and we'll be back with Jenena.
Thank you.
Yes.
There are moments that define a year and nights that define a legacy. On April 25th, 2026, the red carpet leads to something greater. Welcome to the Reinvented Awards Gala, a night of purpose, community, and celebration. Join us in Arlington, Texas, as we honor some extraordinary individuals who made a powerful impact in their communities during 2025. Hosted by the legendary Vicki Winans, this elegant evening brings together leaders, visionaries, and change makers for a night you will never forget. From powerful stories to unforgettable moments, the Reinvented Awards Gala is more than an event, it's a movement. Tickets are on sale now. Don't wait. You don't want to miss this gala. Visit www.marcusleestephenson.com and secure your tickets today. The Reinvented Awards Gala, because transformation deserves to be celebrated.
Jenena. So, as before the commercial, let's talk about how do you detox from one case to the next?
I've never been asked that question
Oh.
in all of campaigning. So it's just, sometimes you have to compartmentalize, and you're fighting for one client, and then you have to switch and fight for another client in a different way. It's just compartmentalizing and just understanding that you can't bring too much emotion in it. You have to be very focused and clear-eyed and more logical than emotional, so that way you don't harm one client because of another client's case.
Exactly.
And so what I saw as a prosecutor, you have a defense attorney that will come in just really mad about one client's case, and you have to think, well, you have another client that you have to come back and say, hey, what can we do with this person? And I was always the prosecutor, no matter how crazy it got. I never took that as took that against them or their client, But there are some that might feel that way. So you always have to be level-headed and just understand that every client deserves a clean slate. So you can't bring the frustration from one client to another, because it won't be fair to them. And so my biggest goal is to help my clients and not hinder them in the way I behave and in the way I carry myself, and negotiate with prosecutors at this point. So I compartmentalize. I try not to take it personally. Sometimes that's very hard because people's lives are at stake, their liberty are at stake. So it is very hard, but you have to, say I'm calm, think logically, be kind, always be kind, because sometimes that does make a difference in how you interact with people, and just go from there.
Wow, I like that. And we're going to talk about a little bit about entrepreneurship, and
Yes.
I tell you why. Because we're all entrepreneurs in some form. Linda has her own company. She's a professor. She has what's the name of your company?
Affluent Designs.
Yeah.
Home decor and staging.
Angelica, I call her everything. She has a marketing company.
Amplified Excellence.
Yeah. Myself, I own an IT company, book author, and everything else. And so, what's your entrepreneurship? 'Cause you know, I want you to tell it, because I'm sorry, I thought my phone was on. That's unprofessional. But go ahead.
So I actually have Jenena Barrie nude footwear, and so throughout the campaign trail, I've been asked, well, how do you ensure that your shoe business does not come in, and my simple answer, it's never been an issue.
There you go.
It's never been an issue. You know, I've never been accused of using my positions in public service to boost my shoes. I just never, even on my links, it's kind of different, and it's still running, but again, never an issue. And I started that. I actually had the idea for that way back in, I think, 2010. It was a long time ago. And the way my sister and I had nude shoes, but it didn't match our skin tone. And then I was just like, why do they say nude, but it looks like flesh color, just one? And then I started thinking and drawing and getting in touch with manufacturers, and reached out to a few in Italy and other places, and got swatch orders from different leather companies. When I launched 13 models, swatched all of them. So right now I have the most diverse skin tone shoe line in the U.S.
That's amazing.
And we have 13 shades from rosé, which is like the pink undertone, all the way to cocoa truffle, which is, the richness, very rich melanin. And so I'm proud of that. My company was featured in Forbes, BuzzFeed, Vogue.
I love it.
And so when I launched that, it was a very crazy time, and I was excited for that. We had a GoFundMe as an initial kickstart. My goal was to raise $15,000. I raised almost $25,000.
Oh, that's good.
It was and it's still going in the background, still running that. But again, that never. I only mention it when I'm asked about it.
Okay.
But that never. It's parallel. It never intersects with my job as an attorney, and definitely not now as running for a judicial position. And so,
well, it looks like we wear the same size.
yeah, so I am a 38 European size. So I enjoy it. I love, all of my shoes are original designs. I drew them. I took them to the manufacturer. I'm like, can you make it like this? Can you do this? Can you do that? I sourced all the leather myself, all the colors. And so it's fun, and I love designing. I'm very creative. And so I love that aspect too.
Yeah, you was talking about colors and stuff. I had no idea what you were talking about. I knew they did.
I know exactly what she
It
means.
means
But
black, brown, green.
I've been following your story for years. I remember when you launched your shoes and did not realize that you were one and the same to the point. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is her, because I thought your idea was absolutely genius. Because to your point, you're great from the ankles up, but you never really could find that right color shoe. And I saw your shoe, I think, in some department stores. And so just kudos to you for that.
Yes.
And I definitely think that there are correlations and lessons that you can learn and utilize, from your, venture in entrepreneurship, the leadership, the decision making that you can also definitely use in the court as well. But for you, there was a 7-year gap between the aha moment and when you actually launched your business. So you talked a little bit about that, but what would you say to would-be entrepreneurs or startup entrepreneurs about that gap and staying focused in that gap and dedicated in that gap?
So the gap was my legal education. That's part of it. And also there, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of doubt and a lot of, for my kind, and not to bring too much of, race or disparity into it, there were a lot of people that wanted to collaborate and give me mentoring, and funding was was really a barrier, because I didn't want to go to a bank and
that's the
take out this
reality, though.
massive loan.
Right.
And
Understandable.
I did, invest quite a few of my personal finances into it. And so the gap, making sure I was ready financially, also, making sure there was interest in it, because you can have an idea, but if people don't come, it's really hard to be able to convince people to like something. But I always thought if I build it, they will come. I built it and they came. So for me, that 7-year gap was more getting my education, because a lot of times, your parents want you to have that degree, and then you can do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And they consider shoes, or your family members, they consider shoes fun and child's play. And I'm like, no, it's my passion. But they also want you to have the fallback to
The
make
real
sure,
job.
yeah, your real
job.
job. And so I'm like, okay, I have the law degree here, and so that was the gap was schooling, doubting, and a lot of things a lot of entrepreneurs have to be comfortable with is being uncomfortable and not knowing if things are gonna pop. I've pitched my ideas, and I was a finalist on Shark Tank, and so going through all of that was just kind of it's very uncomfortable, especially if you've never been in that position before. So just being uncomfortable with the process, but also embracing it and not running from it.
Following through.
And just following through with it. And if you have an idea, you have to do, because every night I went to bed, it just kept at me and at me and at me. And I told someone, so in the interim between my idea and when I actually launched, several brands launched their nude collection as well, skin tone collection. And so I kept seeing it. I was like, how did they get my idea? How did they steal it? Because I wasn't talking to anyone. And to a point where when I launched mine, someone else that launched in the interim tried to actually sue me. And so, she had her big short New York lawyer call me. And we're like, what? No, we didn't take your idea. I've had this idea forever. And so when mine started blowing up, she was like, what, how dare you, So a lot of entrepreneurs need to be uncomfortable with the fact that you're going to have people coming for your ideas, make sure everything is copyrighted, patented.
Yes.
People will come for your ideas and claim it as theirs. People will try to sabotage you. And you have to be steadfast and have all 10 toes and feet down for your idea, and be very passionate about it, because the passion is what's going to keep you going. And remember your why.
Yes.
That's going to keep you going, because as many times as I've doubted and all that stuff, when it came down to it, the rubber met the road. I knew I was doing it. I knew I was sincere, and I knew somebody was like, well, you don't want to do it, go to the store. And I was like, go to the store? And like, yeah. How many different bread brands do you see on the store?
That part.
How many different
How
cereal
many-
brands?
How many hamburger places do you see?
Right.
Pizza restaurants.
And they're like, the idea is every single brand of cereal, of milk, and there's so many different brands. And customers, you will have something unique or a niche about your brand that the other brands don't. And customers will see it, and they will, identify with it. So it doesn't matter how many different bread brands there are. If you have that one bread that's whole wheat, very healthy, not too many calories, there are people that are going to be lined up to buy it, regardless of if there's 20 other bread brand on, on the shelves, right? So
That's true.
Yeah.
That is definitely
Okay, so you were talking about that gap that Angie mentioned, and you said the legal aspect of it, going to school, judge school. Is that what you've been doing for this entire year, preparing for a judge?
Oh, so no, I'm not in judge school,
Okay.
and I would like to claim it and say, if the people of Dallas County give me an opportunity to serve them, yes, I will go to judge school. And so from 2025 to now, it's just basically running your campaign, and what that looks like is getting out in the community and introducing yourself, because I'm a first-time candidate with a funny name. Nobody knew me. And so I had to really go out and hit the pavement really hard and say, I'm Jenena, I'm running for judge, and this is why I think I am the better candidate. I'm Jeneba, I'm running for judge, and this is why I think you should vote for me. I'm Jeneba, I'm running for judge, and I think I would serve the county with respect, with dignity, and with integrity. So this whole year is just getting out to the clubs, getting out to the members of the community, and just basically just, pitching yourself, because you're interviewing for a job. That's how I see it.
Yes.
And so they get to decide between now and March 3rd whether they want to hire me. And I hope they hire me, and and I do a good job. But that's what this period has been. It's just appearing on podcasts and getting my message out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things that it's a first for everybody. The judges that start now in different counties, it's they first. It was they first. So you have an impeccable background. So whether it be your first, your second, your third, your background speaks for itself. Your passion, I'm sitting here listening to your passion about how you want to take care of the community, how you sit there and listen with your kids, and that's where it starts at home. Because when you said that, first thing I'm thinking, well, if she can sit there and listen, because I have kids too. And sometimes you come through that door and they just like, you like, okay.
I know, they wear you out.
But you sit there and listen. Even the times you said that you was like.
It was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable, but you thought about it. You said, okay, let me hear y'all out. And that shows a lot of passion. That if you have passion for your kids and stuff, with the community, you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna give you passion, and I'm listening to you. Well, on the prosecuting side, you had passion. On the attorney side, you had passion. You're the type person that listen. And when you did this and did that, you was like, I need to do this so I can listen. That's very important.
Yeah.
No matter what seat it is, but it's about listening and understanding and seeing the people. Because you're up on this podium, on this bench, and you can see them all. You can see their frowns, their sadness, their thoughts,
Emotions, expressions.
They're like, oh Lord, you see all that, but you look at it and say, I'm gonna be fair to y'all, and that's what people need. They just need that opportunity to go in and listen. If they did something crazy, you gonna know it. Yeah, you did something crazy, so why should I give you another chance? And they may have a good reason why they did something crazy. It could have been drug related. People do crazy stuff at crazy times. Yeah. Because as you said, people just don't wake up. Well, some probably do, but just to wake up, I'm gonna go rob something. I'm gonna do something stupid. But that's good though. Yeah. So, let the people know. I mean, they see your passion. Yeah. And we're live, and they see your passion. And that's what's important. Yeah. They see that. So talk to them on not saying you can be mother hen and spank them, but you can be like, look, just tell them, it's the community is your family at the end of the day. And everybody wants family to grow and do good things and understand why they're getting chastised, why they are. This is what you can do if you don't want to get chastised. So you're an optional judge. I like that.
An optional judge.
Yeah.
Hopefully I become an official judge on March 3rd, 2026.
But first thing is claim it.
Claim it. Oh, yes. Yes.
So, you got to speak it to existence.
Yes. Speaking it to existence, but also putting in the work to make it happen.
Yes,
and you're doing that. We see you. You're doing that.
Yes. And so the biggest compliment, and I've said this so many times, is when somebody comes up to me and go, man, I misjudged you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we think you're a show horse, but now that I know you, you're a workhorse that looks like a show horse, but you work. Yeah. And so when people tell me that, I'm just like, at first you're a little disappointed. You're like, oh man, you didn't think. But then when they say, no, you work, and I really appreciate how hard you're working. And so it's just about, people judge the book by its cover, but then when they open and start reading my book, they realize there's a lot of substance there. Yeah. And so I'm very happy about that, because I think the way you campaign is the way you're gonna judge.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're campaigning hard, you're getting to know the people, or you want the people to get to know you, and you're going, everywhere to make sure that it's very important that people know who they're voting for. They research, because it's really hard for judicial candidates. We're at the bottom of the ballot, and a lot of people just don't know who we are. So my job is to make it easier for the people of Dallas County when they go in that booth and they say 282nd, and I'm the second one on the ballot. They can just say, "Oh, Jeneba, yeah, I know her." Just make it easier for them, so they're not like anxiety reading, like who do I choose? Who would I? You choose me, because I am the more balanced candidate. I am the candidate with the strongest track record. I am the candidate with the best temperament. And those are not my words. Those are my endorsements from the Dallas Morning News, right? So I want people to just be very, very informative when they're voting, and very happy to vote for me too. I don't want them to hold their nose and vote for me. I want them to vote for me
with confidence.
With confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get the vote however I get it, but when you're building confidence in the way people vote, they respect you and they know you're going to get in there and do the work and show up and try to get it right as much as possible. And if you don't get it right and they call you into account to say, okay, I claim it, that's what people want. They don't want excuses. They don't want people that just, deflect. They want people to get in there, do the job, serve the community, and do it with grace and integrity. And that's the kind of judge I aspire to be.
Okay.
I
And
like
that's
that.
what we call the boots on the ground,
Boots
right?
on the
Just
ground.
get in there and get it done. Right. So if you do win this election, and we hope that you do,
Yes.
what will be your first plan of action? What do you want to accomplish as judge?
My first plan of action is to give people that are in jail trial dates or plea dates.
Okay.
And to make sure that everybody that is in jail that has not had a bond hearing gets a bond hearing. You guys all know Dallas County Jail is overcrowded right now.
It is.
And so, again, going back to being on both sides, low-level offenses like, thefts and drug offenses, I can get in and say, hey, guys, we have people that are here for these low-level offenses.
Petty.
How do we move this in a fair and efficient manner so we can focus on the more serious cases? So that's my first plan of action, is to get those bond hearings, those trial dates. And also, I plan on implementing what's called a scheduling order. And so a scheduling order basically means at the time someone is indicted, when the grand jury says a true bill and their case becomes a case, when the moment you're indicted, you get to know your court settings, you get to know your pretrial dates, you get to know your discovery dates, and you get to know your trial dates. And let me tell you why that's a great thing. Number one, for defense attorneys are kind of overworked. And I know that because I'm on this side.
Right.
You go into court, you have 3 different clients and different floors, and you're running up and running down and doing this and that. And so it makes it easier for you to plan out your docket. And when you're able to plan out your docket, you're able to serve your clients in a better way. So defense attorneys know what to expect when this is due, when their pretrial is, when their trial date is due. Also, defendants understand and their families understand. So they're not calling you 24/7 saying, do I have court? What do I have to, They know these are your dates. Put it in your phone calendar app. You have to come in for this date. You have to come in on this date. And on this date, you get to decide. You have to decide whether you want to go to trial or whether you want to take the state's offer. Right? So they know all of that. Again, and then they can also plan with their jobs. Like, hey, boss, I'm going to need vacation days on these days. Right? Goes back to my original saying, we should not have to make people decide whether they're going to miss court and get a warrant or miss work and get fired and not put food on the table. So that scheduling order is going to be very clear, very succinct, saying, hey, these are your dates. Please be here. Hopefully we can take care of your case before pretrial. If not, here's your trial date, and 12 members of the community get to decide, what your fate will be.
I like
So
that.
that's what I plan on
Simple
implementing.
organization.
Yeah. And
Basic organization. Yeah.
Efficiency. It's
Efficiency.
it should be that for everything, but
Yes.
here.
And I'm just curious, but who would you need to bring to the table to make that happen?
to make that happen, of course, my program regarding night and weekend will be, of course, the commissioners, the county, the jail, everything. And that's why I said I make those promises with a caveat that it could be done if I could get those clearances. For the scheduling order, make sure my coordinator is also on top of it, as a district judge, right? As a district judge, you're able to hire your own court reporter and coordinator. So finding someone that's experienced, that's able to be able to get the job done, make sure they're on top of putting, dates in the system. That will be one person that I would lean on heavily with the, but making sure they also have that experience and they've worked in this capacity before. So they're not, because if I'm new, we all can't be new.
Right.
Somebody's got to be experienced if it's not me. So just making sure that they have that experience to know what I'm asking for. Like, hey, how can we print out the scheduling orders, make sure defense attorneys have access to it, make sure members of the community have access to it, make sure defendants have access to it, so everybody's on the same page.
Okay. Now, as a judge, what kind of cases would you expect to have in the federal courts?
In a felony district courts handle state jail felonies. That's anywhere from enhanced offenses like theft and drug cases all the way to capital murder. Okay. And those are cases where the state could seek the death penalty. So very, very serious offenses. So those are the type of cases. State jail felonies, third degrees, second degrees, first degrees, and then X for capital murders.
Wow, and that's good because on the attorney side you experience both. So now you have the opportunity to experience as an elected judge. So yeah, I like that. I like that. So yeah, got a question?
Always.
Go ahead.
I've often wondered why cases take so long to solve. But particularly when I think in terms of capital punishment, the death sentence, why are they locked up for so long before they're actually
Prior to the trial.
Yes, prior to the trial or their execution date.
Well, so in order for someone to be executed, they have to be duly convicted by a jury of their peers. Okay, so being locked up, that goes back to the bond hearings. Right, so we have a lot of people in jail that they don't have bond or bond hearings, and that's back to my number one concern was setting bond hearings and trial dates so that way people are not languishing. Again, we have to balance that with if they're a danger to the community. We always have to make that balancing equation, right? So people get locked up for several reasons. Sometimes they don't have a bond on their cases because of the heinousness of their offense. Sometimes their bond is $500,000, $1 million, right? Yeah. And so you were talking about the normal person. No one has that kind of funds to get them out. And again, those bonds are set based on the types of cases that they're being charged with. And so that's why people tend to stay. Either they don't have bond amounts, or they don't have a bond hearing set, or they don't have an actual number that their family can try to raise to get them out pending their trial date, while their trial date is pending.
Right. Okay. And then couple that with a shortage of lawyers, right? Perhaps. And then the overfilling of the jails. I mean, they're just full to capacity. So it seems like there's really not enough lawyers to go around.
Okay.
Or judges.
So we have 17 felony judges, I believe, and I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to add any more judges. I think that's a legislative issue to create a different bench. But that's how many we have right now in the criminal court. I think it's 17.
Okay. Yeah, this is a part of the show I always hate.
Oh,
the ending.
I don't have to go home.
Because the conversation is so good.
Event, I'm sure.
Yeah, we know you're very busy, but we definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to bless us here tonight.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Definitely. I was so excited, and I looked through some of the interviews that you've done. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Oh,
I like that. And when I read your bio, mentioned loss and grief, I was like, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely get it. But I really appreciate you guys having me. I'm really excited to be
Absolutely.
here.
Oh yeah,
We wish you well in your
appreciate you.
campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, on that note, thank everybody for watching another episode of the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show, and conversation that matters. This one matters. So, follow us on Facebook at Marcus Lee Stephenson Show, and on YouTube, the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show. And just some days, if you want to binge watch. So yeah. Oh, and don't forget, April 25th, we're having a big gala where we're helping the community. We're giving awards for people who have been implementing in this community, Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth, just wherever. We're giving back. We're giving awards. So if you haven't had a chance, go on there and nominate someone. It's going to be awesome. April 25th, check out the website, www.marcusleestephenson.com. See you there.